Is it really true that after 70 a man's life becomes empty without a woman by his side? That's what society often assumes. But is the truth really that simple? Some say living alone is lonely, but for certain men it marks the beginning of true freedom, inner peace, and the deepest kind of personal growth. You might be surprised by what these men are quietly choosing and experiencing. If you live alone or know someone who does, don't miss a single moment of what's coming next. Have you ever stopped to really consider what life is like for older men who live alone without a partner by their side? For many, the idea conjures images of sadness or decline. But if you look closer, you'll discover a very different picture. One filled with quiet strength, rich experiences, and a resilience that's rarely talked about. In today's video, we're going to explore 6 powerful truths about older men who've chosen to live alone. You'll see why many of them actually thrive in solitude, how they maintain meaningful, emotional, and social connections, and how this lifestyle can enhance rather than diminish their sense of purpose and fulfillment. Stay with us until the end, because what you're about to hear might just change the way you think about aging independence and what it means to live fully in your later years. This isn't about stereotypes or shallow assumptions. It's an honest, intimate look at a group of people who are often misunderstood. If you've ever wondered how some seniors live joyfully without a spouse, or if you know someone walking that path, this is a story worth hearing. Let's begin with the first truth. Independence isn't just a circumstance, it's a powerful choice. For many men in their 60s, 70s, or beyond, living alone isn't a sign of isolation. It's a statement of self-determination. It reflects core values, freedom, autonomy, and the ability to live life at one's own pace. Rather than relying on others, these men take pride in shaping their days just the way they want. Whether it's waking up without an alarm clock, eating meals they truly enjoy, or arranging their space to match their preferences, these seemingly small decisions bring deep satisfaction. And for many, not having to adjust to someone else's expectations feels liberating. It creates a calm, quiet environment where their time and energy aren't drained by constant compromises or negotiations. Living alone isn't about shutting the world out, it's about protecting their peace of mind, honoring their dignity, and staying true to who they are. On a psychological level, this autonomy has a powerful impact on self-image. Older men who value their independence often feel stronger, more capable, and in control of their lives. That confidence spills over into their mental health, leading to less stress, more clarity, and a consistently positive outlook. Instead of seeing solitude as something to be feared, they view it as a precious window for self-discovery, skill building, and living more authentically. This sharply contrasts the common stereotype that living alone in old age is somehow sad or unfortunate. Take the story of Tom, a retired school teacher who's now 78. When asked about his solo lifestyle, he smiled and said, "Honestly, I feel great. It's peaceful and I've got space that's truly mine. I can do what I want whenever I want, and at this age, that's a real gift." Tom's story reflects the experience of many others men who don't see living alone as a burden, but rather as a form of self-empowerment. Of course, independence doesn't mean isolation. Many older men who live alone still stay connected to their communities, pursue hobbies, and participate in social groups. They choose how and when they engage on their own terms, without pressure, without obligation. This flexibility allows them to strike a balance between quiet solitude and meaningful connection. This first truth reveals something important. For many older men, living alone isn't about loneliness. It's a way of preserving their identity and maintaining control over their lives. When they live in alignment with what they truly value, they experience greater peace and stability, even in the face of aging's challenges. Truth 2, social connection isn't limited to romantic relationships. Many people assume that living alone means living disconnected. But in reality, a large number of older men who choose to live solo have rich, warm, and active social lives. Without needing a romantic partner, they still build lasting connections through friendships, family clubs, volunteering, sports, and the arts. These relationships serve as emotional anchors, providing a sense of belonging, sharing, and being heard. And often that's all it takes to keep loneliness at a safe distance. In fact, as they grow older, many men become more intentional about nurturing long-term friendships, something they may have overlooked earlier in life. These bonds aren't superficial. They're often forged through shared experiences, overcoming struggles together, supporting each other through loss, or simply walking side by side through the decades. They find joy and connection in activities like community service, local meetups, or neighborhood events. These aren't just social outings, they're safe spaces where they can truly be themselves, speak freely, and feel seen without the pressure that often comes with romantic expectations. Unlike the complexities of romantic relationships, these friendships tend to be lighter, more flexible, and entirely on their own terms. Psychologically, that's incredibly powerful. It gives them a sense of connection, affirmation, and a place to be emotionally open, all of which are critical to mental health as we age. Instead of feeling obligated to be in a relationship, they enjoy the freedom of choosing who they let into their lives, and that choice brings peace. They build social circles made up of people who truly understand, respect, and support their independent lifestyle. Take Robert, a 74-year-old retired engineer. He chose to live alone and has no regrets. Every week, he meets up with a close group of friends for card games and weekend hikes. "We don't need to be married or in a relationship to have deep connections," Robert says. "These friendships keep me grounded and remind me I'm not alone." Aside from friends, family also plays an important role in the lives of older men living alone. Whether it's children, siblings, or close relatives, many of them stay in regular contact and treasure those moments deeply. Thanks to modern technology, video calls and phone chats help maintain closeness even across long distances. One important thing to understand is this: a fulfilling social life doesn't have to come from romance or marriage. For many older men, meaningful relationships that fall outside of traditional molds still offer warmth, connection, and deep emotional value. The freedom to choose their own social relationships plays a big role in their emotional stability and mental independence. It's not about how many people are around them, it's about being surrounded by people who truly matter. If you're still watching this video and haven't hit that subscribe button yet, now's the perfect time. Be sure to turn on notifications so you don't miss the inspiring and thoughtful content we have coming your way. Your support motivates us to keep creating videos that inform, uplift, and bring real value to your life. Now let's move into Truth 3: Health and the Role of Lifestyle. Many people believe that living alone in old age naturally leads to poor physical or mental health, but the reality is far more complex. Among older men who live solo, health outcomes vary widely and are largely shaped by their lifestyle choices and the support systems around them. Some may indeed struggle with lack of assistance or occasional feelings of isolation, but many others stay in excellent shape, both physically and mentally, because they take charge of their own well-being. They develop healthy habits, eating balanced meals, exercising regularly, and keeping up with medical checkups. Interestingly, living alone often motivates them to take greater responsibility for their own health. With no partner around to remind or care for them, they build discipline on their own, eating on time, sticking to routines, and staying on top of medications. That self-reliance forms the backbone of a well-balanced and resilient lifestyle, helping them remain steady and strong even in later years. Mentally and emotionally, living alone can actually be a sanctuary. Sure, solitude might pose some risks for isolation, but for many men, it brings peace and clarity. They wouldn't trade for anything. Not having to manage relationship tension or household conflict allows them to enjoy a calmer life. And they don't just sit idle, they engage in activities that nourish their minds and spirits. From meditation and music to reading or joining local groups, these small things are actually powerful emotional tools that help them maintain balance and joy. Take George, for example, a 79-year-old retired firefighter. He lives alone, but he's full of life. Every day he goes for walks and swims. He also attends a local senior center where he plays chess, paints, and enjoys conversations with friends. Living alone doesn't mean being weak, George says. It means taking ownership of your life. Of course, we must also acknowledge the other side of the picture. Not everyone is in a fortunate situation. Some older men may not have children nearby or anyone to help in times of illness or emergencies. For them, living alone can carry serious risks, especially if they're managing chronic health conditions. And this highlights an important truth. To live well alone in old age, inner strength isn't enough. It also takes a strong support network. From kind neighbors and trusted friends to helpful technology, these support systems can become the safety net that sustains both health and peace of mind for older men living solo. Here's the truth. The health of older men who live alone doesn't depend on whether they have a partner. It depends largely on how they choose to live each day. It's their healthy routines, proactive self-care, and ability to stay connected with their community that help many of them stay fit, live longer, and enjoy a higher quality of life. Truth Oz 4. Financial independence, the foundation of self-sufficient living. One of the most overlooked but deeply influential aspects of aging alone is financial control. For older men, being in charge of their own finances often determines whether solo living is sustainable and fulfilling. When they manage their own money, they can make choices that match their lifestyle without compromise. From shopping and spending to planning their future, every decision reflects their own priorities and values. This autonomy doesn't just make life more comfortable, it also brings peace of mind. They don't have to navigate conflicting financial priorities or argue over budgets, common stressors in traditional relationships. Instead, they're free to invest in what truly brings them joy, remodeling their home, traveling, pursuing hobbies, or taking better care of their health. Financial freedom is also a clear sign of maturity and self-reliance. It allows them to approach major decisions like retirement planning, insurance, or estate management on their own terms with confidence and clarity. Take Paul, a 72-year-old retired accountant. He lives alone, and what he's most proud of isn't what he owns. It's the fact that he still manages every aspect of his finances independently. I don't need anyone checking on me or reminding me. Every financial decision I make reflects who I am, he shared. For Paul and for many others, money isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about self-respect, personal agency, and living with dignity. Paul once said very candidly, "I like knowing exactly where every dollar goes. I can make any decision I want without needing permission or having to explain myself. That sense of control gives me peace of mind about my future." His story mirrors that of countless other older men, those who see financial control not just as a skill, but as a vital part of maintaining independence and in living well. Of course, with freedom comes responsibility. Without a partner to share financial burdens, they must be especially wise in their planning. That includes building safety nets, emergency savings, health insurance, and reliable support systems in case of unexpected needs. Financial literacy and proactive management are their secret weapons key to maintaining their independence through the later stages of life. This fourth truth highlights something powerful. Money isn't just about numbers, it's about living life on your own terms. For many older men, being in control of their wallet is what enables them to live alone, because it supports their autonomy, their self-worth, and their peace of mind as they grow older. Truth, emotional resilience, and deep self-awareness. One of the most profound qualities we often see in older men who live alone is their emotional strength and high level of self-awareness. Choosing to live solo in later life isn't a random or careless decision. It's the result of knowing oneself deeply, of having the inner strength to face life without needing emotional dependency on someone else. This inner power is what helps them push through difficult times, whether it's stress, sadness, or unexpected hardship, without falling apart. Many of them develop their own healthy coping strategies, from meditation and journaling to physical exercise and finding joy in life's simplest pleasures. Over time, they learn to truly appreciate their own company. They don't need crowds, and they don't seek validation from others to feel valuable. Instead, they find peace in quiet, meaningful moments. Reading a book, tending a garden, painting, meditating, or just sitting quietly by a window with a warm cup of tea. This level of self-awareness becomes the foundation for inner peace, a quiet satisfaction that many people never reach, especially those who rely too heavily on relationships for a sense of worth. Psychologically, this reflects deep acceptance, accepting how the body changes, how time moves forward, and how certain limitations come with age, without fear or resistance. Interestingly, living alone often allows them to be more authentic than ever before. Without the need to meet anyone's expectations or play roles within relationships, they are finally free to be fully themselves without apology, without performance. And it's that honesty with oneself that becomes a powerful source of strength and confidence. Take Samuel, a 77-year-old retired teacher who's lived alone for over a decade. "This time in my life has helped me reconnect with who I truly am." He shared, "I enjoy each moment, no need to compromise, no pressure to meet anyone's expectations." Samuel's story isn't rare. Many older men who choose solo living echo the same feeling, as if this quiet chapter of life is giving them a chance to grow again, this time from the inside out. That's not to say they never feel lonely or vulnerable, but the difference is they've learned how to face those emotions in a healthy, grounded way. Whether it's meditation, journaling, joining community groups, or having honest conversations with like-minded people, they've created their own emotional toolkit to stay centered and calm. Understanding this gives us a glimpse into something that often goes unnoticed. The emotional strength of older men who live alone is something to admire. It takes courage, mindfulness, and a mature heart to walk through the later stages of life without losing touch with who you are. Truth 6. Social connections beyond romantic relationships. There's something that often goes unspoken, but it's incredibly important. Many older men who live alone are not as isolated as people say. In fact, they're often building meaningful social connections that go far beyond romantic relationships. These bonds provide warmth, mental nourishment, and help bring richness and purpose to everyday life. Unlike in their younger years, when relationships were often centered around dating or marriage, these men now find connection in much simpler and more meaningful ways. Playing sports, gardening, reading with friends, volunteering, or simply enjoying a quiet conversation over tea. In addition to friendships, they maintain close ties with family, siblings, children, and longtime companions. These relationships tend to be gentler, more genuine, and more lasting, free from the drama that can come with romantic entanglements. And the benefits go far beyond just social interaction. Studies show that older adults who live alone but stay socially engaged tend to have lower rates of depression, slower cognitive decline, and even longer lifespans. They've come to understand that a wide network of meaningful connections, not just one romantic partner, is the real foundation for a fulfilling life. When there are multiple sources of connection, they feel less dependent, less lonely, and more empowered to give, to share, and to grow. Let's take the example of Walter, an 80-year-old retired engineer. Walter lives alone, but his life is far from empty. He's active in a local gardening club, reads weekly with a group of friends, and keeps in regular touch with his grandchildren. "My friends and family bring joy and meaning to my life," he says. "Living alone gives me more time and energy to focus on those relationships without the distractions that don't really matter." Many men like Walter also build intergenerational connections. They volunteer at schools, mentor younger people, or serve at local community centers. These roles don't just help others, they give these men a deep sense of value, purpose, and belonging, something all of us seek no matter our age. By playing these roles in their communities and across generations, they continue to feel seen, appreciated, and essential. This sixth truth highlights something powerful. Living alone is not about loneliness, it's about consciously choosing the kind of relationships that align with your lifestyle and emotional needs. For many older men, a socially rich life outside of romantic expectations is the key to emotional balance, lasting joy, and peace of mind. As this video comes to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on the 6 truths we've explored about older men who've chosen to live alone without a woman by their side. Each of these truths reveals strength, wisdom, and emotional depth that often go unnoticed. Whether it's their independence, resilience, or their genuine connections with others, they've created a meaningful life on their own terms. Now it's your turn to pause and reflect. Which truth resonated with you the most? Maybe you saw yourself in the idea of unburdened freedom, or maybe you realized just how healing, simple, heartfelt friendships can be as we grow older. Whatever stood out to you, remember this. Your experience matters. You are not alone. And walking this path solo, when done with intention, can be one of the most beautiful journeys of all. Living alone doesn't mean lacking something. In many cases, it's a powerful expression of self-knowledge and emotional maturity. It takes courage, patience, and often ongoing learning. But in that process, it offers a rare opportunity to grow, not in the eyes of others, but in the eyes of yourself. We'd truly love to hear from you. Share one insight that touched you in today's video and how you'd like to apply it in your life. Your words may inspire someone else who's walking a similar path. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss our upcoming content created especially for older adults. Your support is what keeps us going and helps us spread meaningful, uplifting messages to a wider community. Thank you for being with us today. We look forward to seeing you in the next video, where we'll continue exploring the deeper layers of life after 60 together.